What's the juiciest rumor at your school that turned out to be 100% true? The art teacher was sleeping with both the history teacher and reteacher. She was married to the chemistry teacher who she'd previously had an affair with, while married to the woodwork teacher. I believe she married the reteacher sometime after I left school. Edit. A few people have asked what RE is. Religious education, which state schools in the UK used to have to teach. Taught by an atheist, which was refreshing. A younger male teacher, upper 20s, no lie what, was having sex in his classroom during lunch with an older female teacher, married in her mid-40s. A student caught them and filmed them, pretty much blackmailed them into turning themselves in. That there is an underground bunker from the Cold War era below the school. Not only is it there, but it turns out you can access it from the pair changing room through a secret trapdoor. Edit. It's in Krakow, Poland, because so many of you were curious. And it looks like there's actually lots of schools that have one. Edit 2. Also, it is confirmed to be a bunker, but it was built before the school existed and was most likely emptied by previous owners of the building. Two teachers that were married to each other were sleeping with students. The husband was the first to do it, and the wife found out and slept with some of her students as revenge. Also, the resource officer was sleeping with some of the 18-year-old seniors. All got confirmed when they were fired for it. Well, the teachers got fired. The officer got moved to bicycle patrol. We had a Spanish teacher who would keep giving random financial/business advice during classes. One day he tabbed over to his stock trading homepage and accidentally revealed that he was a millionaire. Rumors about his past started circulating. Around graduation, some students found old newspaper articles confirming that he was a former meth dealer who had spent time in jail. Was a seriously cool guy, actually. We had a running joke around my school for years. If someone asked, could you insert question here, most people would reply, I'll do it for a bag of Doritos. This was a school-wide inside joke because a girl was caught sucking this guy's dick in the bathroom. Some authority figure had the bright idea of asking why the horny teen would allow this. She said she would do it for $3 and a bag of Doritos. No one ever saw the girl again, but the guy became a legend. My 6th grade math teacher was super creepy. He would assign seats randomly but always placed the girls in the front of the classroom. Did the whole lingering stare thing and was always trying to get people to hang out with him during lunch. I never did, but he was married and has a baby, so no one really suspected him of anything other than being creepy. Fast forward about 7 years. The teacher ended up being a sex offender. He had an ongoing relationship with a girl that began when she was 13. Based on what I could see from the various news articles, she was either in my year or the year before me. The police came to arrest him in the middle of his class, cuffed him in front of his students, and then had him walk throughout campus in cuffs to get to their car. I don't feel bad for him at all, but I can't imagine how his wife and son must feel. Edit. For everyone asking, this was in the Bay Area, California. Some kid in my year/grade found nude pictures of his art teacher, female, on a school camera when he went to take pictures of his painting. Didn't have a clue what to do about it, so just started telling people and no one believed him. Couple days later he's pulled out of class and had to see the school headmaster about it. They found the camera and the photos and somehow the teacher was unaware whatsoever. Thing is, the teacher didn't get any reprimands, but the kid got excluded a couple of days for spreading true rumors about the teacher. The cheerleading team was doing coke off the toilet seats. Edit. For everyone saying the tank would be better, maybe my high school was unusual, but we had the same high power flush toilets like other public bathrooms. They had no tanks, just the base of the toilet and the seat. Our bathrooms had no doors to the entrance, probably as a deterrent to this behavior, so the counters were a no-go. The toilet paper dispensers were those large circular ones. Believe me, I agree with those of you saying it's gross and idiotic, but there weren't that many alternatives in the bathroom. We weren't allowed to have bags or backpacks with us, so no one carried a purse, and they did it in the middle of class, so bringing a textbook would be suspect. Also, the main offenders were too young to drive, so they didn't have keys necessarily, and this was pre-smartphone, and before the average high school student even had a cell phone. Edit 2. Real glad the cheerleaders' collective idiocy lead to my highest rated comment. The rumor was that a boys gym teacher and a senior girl in my class were involved. They got married when we graduated. He was at least 10 years older than she was. Spanish teacher was a former male porn star. That the school district security guard would let you get away with anything if you gave him some coke. He later got caught and fired for it. If anyone else went there, it was at Desert View HS in Tucson. Edit. I was talking about Kaya Kane, not the soda for those who didn't realize that. And on a serious note, it's all about the Dr. and fuck the rest. Resource officer was a child molester and then murdered his wife after he was fired. He fled and they still haven't found him over 10 years later. He's on Marshall's top 15 most wanted list. His name was Dan Hires and his mother thinks he's dead. The computer tech teacher got caught having sex with a student. He was put on suspension while the investigation was conducted. He killed himself by running his car into a tree. There was a rumor that our female English teacher was sleeping with the starting QB and that her youngest child was not her husband's, but the QB's. She was caught sleeping with a different one of her students years later, and it is now known she has slept with a number of former students including the QB. Now people really think her youngest kid isn't her husband's. Edit. QB equals QUARTERBACK. Sorry to my non-Americans on the thread. This is by far the most attention that a post of mine has received, and I love that it turned into a Blue Mountain State thread. Go Goats. Probably not the juiciest thing, but the one I remember because of how I found out. A few of our high school libraries' walls were weird, sort of a lowercase b shape, so there was this empty space behind the bookshelves up against the walls. Tunnels, basically. Word was, students were freaking in there. I worked in the library, had to move the shelves, clean the tunnels, found used condoms. It was an all-boys school at the time, if that matters. Mind, the condoms weren't the worst thing, really. The leftover food debris, and there was worse stuff like chicken bones. Edit. Couple years later, I was talking with an ex-schoolmate. Another guy from our graduating class comes in. I hate that guy, my friend says. He's freaking gay. Dude, you're gay. There's gay, and there's so freaking gay other gay people think you're too freaking gay. Turns out that gent had been one of the entrepreneurial fellows selling services for a few dollars ago. I wasn't shocked, since I already had some idea, but I was surprised that the going rate had been so cheap. Our math teacher in high school had a student teacher she was helping train to take over for her when she went on maternity leave. The student teacher was maybe 20 to 21 and a fairly attractive young woman. So naturally all the guys in the class had a crush on her. One guy in particular was a super senior and 18 to 19. He flirted with her non-stop, and she would act super embarrassed and blush and in a non-committal way tell him to knock it off. I'm sure you see where this is going. Well, towards the end of the semester he was bragging about going on a date with her and how they went to the movies, then he went back to her place and they had sex. We all thought he was full of shit. But the rumor got around the school and of course the teachers and faculty found out. Then one day she has just gone. And we had substitute teachers for the rest of the semester. We all knew what happened. Looking back, it's kind of a shame that she probably wrecked her future teaching career of him. That one of the kids had a famous pornster for an older sister. I knew because I was friends with him. Still am. It's still weird to see pictures of her in their house after having seen her take it in the ass on camera. Edit. All I'll say about who she is that she has swallow tattoos. New kid comes to high school. Has a funny accent because his parents were missionaries traveling all over the world. He was actually kind of cool. Spoke at least 4 different languages: English, Spanish, Russian and Mandarin. He was super polite and everyone liked him. Of course he had haters, mainly the so-called bullies, a concept he never understood. Rumor began that he was well versed in many forms of martial arts. He never denied or admitted to them. One of the bullies decided to find out. He was much bigger than the new kid. New kid did everything in his power to not escalate the fight. Even took a punch from said bully. Well, guess the rumor was true. Not only did the new kid beat his ass, the bully shit himself. Most awesome thing I ever saw in high school. Edit. Unfortunately, I was never really close to him. But I had heard from another friend of mine that he ended up moving after high school. Nobody seems to know anything else. I barely remember his first name. It was not an easy one, let alone his last name. So he will live on in memory as that one foreign kid that nobody messed with. So at my school the drama teacher worked closely with one history teacher who did all the tech stuff for plays, sound, lights, etc. They spent a lot of time together, and both of them were married. The tech kids, my friends and I, always joked about them having an affair, and it turned into a school-wide rumor. We never really thought much about it, and that was 8th grade. My friends and I went on to high school and forgot about it for 3 years until a few months ago when we saw the history teacher at a football game. We went to ask him how he was doing, and the fucking drama teacher comes over and grabs his hand. We awkwardly said, "Oh, that was true, huh?" He replied with, "Yeah, we've been going out for 2 years." We ended the conversation after that. So the rumor wasn't true when it first started, but ended up being true. TL. Our two teachers spent a lot of time together. We joked about them having an affair, forgot about it. 3 years later we learned we called it before it became true. I was an outcast at my high school and was shunned by the majority of the school. Because of this, my circle of friends included the outcasts from my school and the outcasts from several other schools in my city. Myself and my friend Sarah from my school were good friends with a very gay guy from another school named Raphael. We were also friends with this very punk girl from the same school as Raphael named Stephanie. Stephanie was really hot and always dressed in a very outwardly sexual way. Fishnets, schoolgirl uniform, thigh-high boots, etc. The jocks at our school thought we, Sarah and I, were freaks and shunned us until they saw us hanging out with Stephanie. Then every one of them wanted to have her phone number, and we were popular. Stephanie made the rounds of pretty much the entire football and baseball teams at my high school and was known as a head queen. Everyone wanted to go on a date with her, and most did. Stephanie and Raphael are the same person. We had a study hall teacher who was a huge hardass with a handlebar mustache who was retired Navy. Turned out he was a hardcore gay/BDSM porn star in the early 2000s. He got fired, even though it was long before his time teaching. I ended up writing a letter to the administration, county, and their attorneys, but he stayed fired. I guess it would be hard to command respect from students when googling his porn name immediately brought up a pic of his balls bound in leather.